Hello again. Thank you for joining me. Just going to do one thing tonight. It's going to be a short stream. Ideally, I wanted to go into Blender and then start working on some custom mesh importation. But it's a little late and I didn't have the time that I was hoping to have. So I'm just going to do one thing. So in order to import custom meshes, I need to be able to read a file and do things with the data contained within that file. So I need to implement some sort of file IO into my project. So that's all I'm going to do tonight. And then tomorrow I'll be all set up to just do custom mesh importation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make a function here that I'll call this read file into buffer. All right, so then I'll put the code in here that will open a file, get all the data from the file, and then save that data into a buffer. So what I need to do that is a character string for file name. And you know what, I can go ahead and make that constant because it's not going to change inside the function. And then I need to have the actual buffer itself, so it'll just be a void pointer. I'll just call that data. And then I want to also get how long the file is or how many bytes are in the file, just in case I need that later on. And most likely I will. So I'm going to save that. Let's see. I doubt my files will ever be big enough to overflow an unsigned int. So I'm just going to save it as that. I'll call this file length, file size. I'll call it file length. I don't know. Okay, so now that that's set up, let's see, let's go to the internet here. Let's go to the Windows, and I don't even know, read file. What if I search for that? Opening a file for reading and writing. Okay, cool. Seems like it knows what I want. What is this? Open a file for writing. Open a file for reading. Cool. That's what I want to do. What is this? Okay, so it seems like I need to create the file and some error check there. And oh, yeah, okay, so then this will read the file. And I'm sure there's a way to get the length of the file. But yeah, let's just start with that. Okay, so it's gonna be what is it? Just a handle. Call it file. And I'll just copy all this. So arg1 is the file to open. That's just my file name. Open for reading. That is what I would like. File share read. Share for reading. All right. Default security. I like the comments telling me exactly what these are. Open existing. Yeah, well, I only want to open files that exist. And it's a normal file. I don't think I need this overlapped thing. I think that's if you want to do like some asynchronous stuff, but I'm going to handle all the asynchronicity later on my own. And this null is probably nothing I need, so cool. And let's just check the error here to see if the file opened correctly. So if file equals that, then we can display a message box. Error, or let's say could not open file. And here I'm going to put read file into buffer, and I don't need to capitalize that. And so if it doesn't work, I just want to exit the whole program. All right, so let's compile that. So far, so good. So now when I'm reading the file, I don't think I want this EX. I just want regular read file. Let's see. I think the EX is for if you want it to multi-thread it for you, but I'm going to do all the multi-threading stuff later on my own. Okay, so when I read the file, I need the file handle, the buffer to read the file into, number of bytes to read. So I need to get the length of my file. Let's see, get file size. What if I just search for that? Oh, perfect. Okay, so it returns a D word, but it also takes in a pointer to a D word. A pointer to a variable where the high order double word of the file size is returned. The parameter can be null if the application does not require the high order. So I think that's only if I'm opening really huge files, like more than like, I don't know, like 3 gigabytes or something. Otherwise, I think I could just use that. So I'm going to go with that and hope for the best here. So I'll call this file size. And then, so I want to get the file size and pass in the file handle. Oops, go away. Pass in file and then pass in the address. No, that's going to be 0. And then this is going to be file size equals that, right? Yeah. I would like to test this actually right now just to make sure that's working, because I'm really skeptical that that's how that's supposed to go. But so let's do this. Let us make some things here. Let's make a buffer. This is just temporary. Call this buffer, and we'll make a 8. We'll just malloc, I don't know, 10,000 bytes. Sure, why not? Is that too many? Yeah, okay. So I got a buffer here, and then file size. So then I want to read file into buffer. Let's see, let's just read our build file here. So the file name is build.bat. Then the data, which is my buffer, and the file length. Actually, I want that to be a pointer because I'm actually going to change that to be the actual length. So I want to put in the address of file size. All right, so let's see if that compiles. It do compile. And I'm just going to put here, I'll put debug string test. That's just so I can put a breakpoint here and actually see what the file size is. And when I do that, probably would help if I compiled it. There we go. And file size is 187. Cool. Yeah, so I think that's working. Yeah, so what's after, now that I have the file size, I can, where'd it go? Yeah, read the file. I don't want the read file ex. That's fine. Read file, just a regular read file. All right, so that returns a bool, a boolean, and if it succeeds, it's true. Okay, so we'll say bool, I'll call this res equals read file, and I need the handle to the file, which is file. I need the LP buffer. That's okay, so that's the buffer I'm reading it into, so that would just be data. Then I need the number of bytes to read, which is file size. The number of bytes read, I have not read any bytes. And then the overlapped is nothing because it's just straight up. All right, so now I can say if res is, or actually if not res, then something went bad. So we'll just copy all this and say that could not read file. And so now I want to update the file length to be equal to the file size. And you're happy with that. So let's do this here. Let us put a breakpoint here and check my buffer. And yeah, I can actually see right there that the buffer is full of my text from the build file. And just to emphasize that it is indeed working, let's do this. Let us output a debug string of, and it's got to be a LPCW string. So I got to cast it, I believe. LPCW string of the buffer. LPC string. Oh, okay, LPC, not Y string. There we go. So if I debug here and come down here to my debug console, there it is. There is the text from my build file. And just for double emphasis, let's try a different file. Let's try graphics utilities. Oh, I gotta rebuild it. There it is. Yeah, all the text from my graphics utilities. I really want to get rid of all this extra loaded text because it's making it very difficult to find my debug outputs. So there's got to be a way. Let me just search it. Let me put here VS Code remove loaded messages. Seems like somebody at least is complaining on GitHub about that. Let's see, maybe there's a solution. Yeah, okay, so we have module load logging enabled as default. You can disable it by adding the following to you launch.json. I think you meant your, but I will give you the benefit of the doubt there. So let's try this. So if I come here to my launch, let's just tack that on the bottom here. It's not complaining about anything, so this guy seems to know what he's talking about. And if I run that again and come down here, oh, much better. Look at that. Great. Who's this guy? Who is that? Warden Nog. Thanks, bro. Shout outs to you. If anybody knows Warden, give him a pat on the back from me. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's really all I wanted to get done today. I know it's really short. Still got my army of cubes here. I can read from a file. I can get all the data from that file. So I am all set up. So next time I will jump into Blender. You know what I should do? I don't even know. Do I have it? I don't even have it installed. Let's download Blender real quick. So it's ready to go. Blender.org. And download it. Yeah, whatever the most up-to-date one is fine, I think. There it goes. And while that's going on, I'm going to go ahead and commit this to the Git box here. Git add can now read a file. New public license. Yeah. All right, cool. So that's all set up. Let me just double check. Oops. Yeah. Is it? Oh, there it goes. All right, cool. So yeah, we got Blender now. So yeah, next time I'm going to take a mesh from Blender, put it into my game, and so I'm not just staring at cubes all the time. That's it. All right, thank you, everybody. I will see you next time.